Night the snowstorm swallowed the town. Mapala was outside the convenience store arguing over cocoa. Her coworker Beezy had grabbed the last thermos from the shelf, holding it over her head like a prize while Mapala reached up and tried to wrestle it free. They were both laughing so hard they could barely breathe. The sky had turned the color of old iron, heavy and low. Nobody noticed the darkness until the emergency sirens began to wail from the direction of the highway. The sound cut through their laughter like a blade. Beezy tucked the cocoa under her arm and pointed at the sky. "Storm warnings. Go home," she said. Mapala waved her off and turned toward the alley where she had parked her bicycle, muttering about the cold. The first snowflakes were already falling, fat and fast. That was when she saw it. Barely visible behind the rusted dumpster, a hand, sticking out from the shadows. Not moving. She stopped walking. Every voice in her head said to go back inside and call for help. The alley was dark. The wind had teeth. She did not know this person, but the hand was so still. And Mapala had never been good at walking away from something that needed her. She crossed the alley in 6 steps. When she knelt beside the dumpster, her knees sank into fresh snow and the cold bit through her jeans. The man lying there was not drunk, not homeless. She could tell right away. His coat was long and expensive, the kind that cost more money than she earned in 3 months. His shoes were polished even under the blood and snow. But right now he was completely helpless. Blood ran from a cut above his temple, dark and slow. His face was turned to the side, eyes closed. She pressed 2 fingers to his neck and felt a pulse. Steady but quiet. A pair of headlights swept slowly across the mouth of the alley. Mapala looked up. A black SUV was moving down the street outside, not driving normally. It was crawling, searching, the way a predator moves when it is following a scent. A second vehicle appeared behind the first, then a third. Her heart hammered. She did not think. She grabbed the man under his arms, dug her heels into the snow, and pulled. He was heavy. She pulled harder. The back door of the convenience store was unlocked. She used it every night. She dragged him inside and turned off the lights. The power had been flickering all evening. Now it gave up entirely. The store went dark except for pale blue glow seeping through the frosted windows. Mapala locked the back door with both hands shaking and stood still, listening. Outside she could hear engines idling. More than 2 vehicles now. 4, maybe 5. Her phone had 1 bar of signal. She tried to call the police. The line clicked and died. She tried again. Nothing. She found the old first aid kit under the counter and knelt beside the man on the floor. She cleaned the wound above his temple with antiseptic and pressed a folded cloth against it. Her hand stopped shaking. When things became too serious for panic, Mapala became very calm. It was a strange feature of her personality she had never fully understood. She was pressing the cloth firm against his head when he moved. It happened fast. His hand shot up and locked around her wrist. Tight. His eyes opened. Dark, sharp, already scanning the room before she had registered he was awake at all. They stared at each other. His grip loosened slightly. His voice came out low and measured, like every word was being carefully rationed. "Don't let them find me." Then his eyes closed again and his hand went slack. She gave herself 30 seconds to be afraid. Then she stood up. The front windows looked directly onto the main street. Mapala pressed herself against the wall beside one and peered out from the edge. 3 black vehicles were parked across the road. Men in long tailored coats stood in small groups. Not shouting, not running. Organized and calm in a way that was more frightening than anger. Then someone knocked on the front door. Not hammering. 3 slow, deliberate knocks. Mapala walked forward. She opened the door 2 inches, keeping the security chain latched. The man on the other side was polished and expressionless, with the stillness that comes from long practice. "Have you seen a man come through here?" Tall, dark coat. Mapala kept her face soft and confused. "Just me here," she said. "Power went out. I've been waiting for it to come back." He studied her for a moment that lasted too long. He thanked her quietly and left. She did not move from the spot for a full minute. Then through the window, she watched one of the men press a gloved hand flat against the glass of the neighboring store. He turned slowly and smiled at nothing before walking back to the vehicles. It was the worst kind of smile. He woke fully near midnight. Mapala was sitting on the floor with her back against the freezer unit, a flashlight balanced on her knee and a bottle of water in her hand. When she heard him shift, she looked up. He was already sitting upright, already scanning the room. Exits first. Windows second. Her last. He moved like someone trained to survive the first 10 seconds of any situation. You risked your life, he said. Low and even. Not exactly grateful. More like a fact he was still calculating the weight of. Mapala took a slow sip of water. You're welcome, she answered flatly. He looked toward the door. The vehicles? Still out there earlier. Quiet now. Roads are closed. He nodded once. No panic. No confusion. Just the steady processing of someone used to bad situations. Who are they? Mapalo asked. He was quiet long enough that she thought he would not answer. Then he looked at her directly. People who want something I will not give them. He paused. If they connect you to me, you will not survive the week. The flashlight hummed quietly between them. Mapalo looked at him for a long moment. You could have started with thank you, she said. He blinked. The corner of his mouth shifted. Almost nothing. But she caught it. The storm raged on. There was nothing to do but wait. Mapalo found 3 packets of instant noodles and heated them on the camping stove kept in the back for power outages. She handed one bowl to the man without asking whether he wanted it. He ate in silence. She noticed he held the chopsticks the way people do when they have used them since childhood, easy and unthinking. Korean? She asked. He glanced up. Yes. She nodded and returned to her noodles. After a while the silence shifted. It was no longer the silence of strangers. It was something warmer than that. 2 people sharing heat in the dark and agreeing without words to simply endure. Mapalo wrapped both hands around her bowl and said, almost to herself, You're not some kind of secret crime boss, are you? She meant it as a joke. But he did not smile. He looked at her for a long time with an expression she could not name. Careful. Measuring. Tired in a very specific way. Would that change what you did? He asked quietly. The wind hit the windows hard. The snow hissed against the glass. She thought about the still hand in the snow. She thought about those 3 slow, deliberate knocks on the door. Neither of them said anything else. She woke to silence and white light. The storm had stopped. Morning had arrived while she was sleeping on the floor with her coat folded under her head. For a moment she lay still, looking at the ceiling, remembering everything. Then she sat up fast. The man was gone. She checked the back door. Unlocked. She checked the front. Still latched from inside. She searched the storage room and the bathroom at the back. Nothing. The only sign he had ever existed was the folded cloth she had pressed to his wound, cleaned and placed neatly on the counter. And beside it, something small and silver. A pin the size of her thumbnail, shaped like a wolf's head. Precise and detailed, the tiny eyes sharp even in miniature. She put it in her coat pocket. She spent the morning convincing herself it was over. A strange night. A stranger in the snow. She had done a decent thing, and life would return to normal. She almost believed it by noon. Then the black SUVs came back. Not circling this time. Not searching. Moving in a straight line toward the store, for vehicles, deliberate and unhurried. The way things move when they already know where they are going. Mapalo set down her coffee. She stood very still and watched them come.
That's the end of part 1. Like, comment your thoughts, and share for part 2.